Okay, so the first video of the year for Algebra 1. Welcome to the online YouTube video channel for Mr. Chappell. Hopefully this 3-question little video will help you in preparation for Friday's test. Okay, so here we go. So we have a extended response question here. It says, "It was all fired up. A large forest fire in the western United States burns for 14 days, spreading to cover approximately 3,850 acres. Firefighters do their best to contain the fire, but hot temperatures and high winds may prompt them to request additional support." Okay, so number one, the fire spreads at an average rate of how many acres per day? Alright, so we talked a little about rates in class. So for number one here, if I want to find the rate of acres per day, remember per means division, acres per day. So if I look in the problem, it says there were 3,850 acres burned over 14 days. And I will simply divide that out, and that will give me the rate. And the rate is going to be 275 acres per day. So there you go. So there's the rate. Okay? Alright, scroll down a little bit more. So it says number 3. Additional help arrives and the firefighters contain the fire in 7 more days. In total, how many acres does the fire cover before it is contained? Okay, so 7 more days have gone by. Well, we have a rate here, and I'll do part 2 or part 3 in blue, or in orange. We have a rate here of 275 acres per day, and the fire goes on for 7 more days. When you have the time and the rate, you multiply them. 275 times 7. And this will give you 1,925 acres. And now if we combine this 1925 acres with the 3,850 acres that has already been burned, we see that we get a total of 5,775 acres. So that's how many acres have been burned before the fire got contained. Okay? Alright, here we go. Part 4. If the fire had spread to cover an area of 7,000 acres, it would have reached Bowman Valley. Explain how the graph shows the firefighters stopped the spread of the fire before it reached Bowman Valley. So let's look at this graph here, and we're going to have to write this down in words, okay? So it's look at the graph. It says, okay, so here's the number of acres, and notice this green line here. I'm going to use this red right here. Signify that this green line means 7,000 acres. Notice how it's constant, it's consistent. That's at 7,000. And then notice this red line. This red line starts at 4,000, around 4,000, and after 7 days, it stops here, just short of 6,000. I bet you that this number is 5,775. So this is showing that 7 extra days, how many total acres got burned before the firefighter stopped. So notice how these two lines don't touch. That's how we know that the graph shows the firefighter stopped, because if this line kept going, and it would eventually intersect the green line, but they don't keep going. It stops. Alright? So we need to formulate that in words. So I'll do that right down here. So I'll do this in blue. So I would say the green line represents 7,000 acres. Since the red line stops short of the green line, spread down some more. Since the red line stops short of the green line, the graph shows the firefighters stop the spread to Bowman Valley. And again, hopefully you did this problem before you listened to my explanation, and you have something like that, right? The fact that since the red line stops short of the green line, since the red line doesn't touch the green line, since they don't intersect, it means it never got to 7,000 acres, which means it never got to Bowman Valley. So something similar to that, okay? All right, and then lastly, number 5, it says the total cost of fighting the fire for 21 days was approximately $1,440,000. What is the approximate cost per acre of fighting the fire? Here we go. Another rate. Cost per acre. The cost was $1,440,000. All over how many acres? 5,775. And when I do that in the calculator, I get something around, and I round to money, 249.35, rounded to money, and that'd be dollars per acre. And if you use that around 250, that'd be fine, or 249, that'd be fine. Okay. So again, not saying that your extended response will be just like this, but just trying to see how we tie in multiple parts together. All right, so it's very important we start good on the first step to get to the second step, third step, fourth. Okay, all right, very good. So hopefully that went well for you. Okay, now I just have 2 more problems here. Okay, we'll do number 2 here. Solve this equation for B. And in class, remember I said, okay, let's focus on where the B is, and let's say what is happening to the B. So right now, the B is being subtracted by 4 and divided by C. And remember we talked about that's what's going on to the B. So now let's go in the reverse order. What would I do to get rid of that dividing by C? Well, let's times by C. So let's do that first. So I will rewrite my equation down here. I will do this in orange. So let's copy it in orange. So I'm going to times both sides by C. And what does that give me on this side? It gives me AC or CA, whatever you want to put. I'm going to put AC, A times C equals. And on the right side, the C's cancel. B minus 4. Oh, and then I got ahead of myself. So now, to get rid of us subtracting 4, we're going to add 4. And that's exactly what I do now. Add 4 on this side, add 4 on that side. And what do I get? I get AC plus 4 equals B. And the 4's are canceled. And there's that equation solved for B. So don't let the variables fool you. Don't let them mess you up. Just simply see what's happening to the variable you're solving for and undo backwards. Okay, good. And hopefully many of you corrected your 1-6 formative assessment and get those points back, doing it the way that I just showed. All right, lastly, absolute value, right? When you see these bars, something should trigger in your mind that this is a different kind of problem. Now, before you start to look at this, you need to make sure that the absolute value is by itself. This is the absolute value. You see this 4? This 4 needs to be gone first. That 4 is multiplying with the absolute value. There is no symbol in between the 4 and the bar. So to get this absolute value alone, we must divide by 4. And I do it on each side. The 4's cancel. Absolute value of x minus 5 comes down, equals, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. Now the absolute value is alone. There's nothing outside of it. So now we can break this into 2 equations. Remember, the magic number with absolute value is 2. So what's inside the absolute value x minus 5 equals positive 3. Or what is inside the absolute value x minus 5 could be the negative of that number, negative 3. And from these 2 equations, we'll get 2 answers by adding 5 to both sides here, x equals 8, and by adding 5 to both sides here, x equals, and negative 3 plus 5 is positive 2. So remember, with absolute value, typically there are 2 answers, and they come from the 2 equations you set up. Alright, so hopefully this short little video helped. Just one minor thing in your study plan for chapter 1. Hopefully you're getting down to studying, and you do well tomorrow. Alright, or Friday, I'm sorry. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Friday.